you know, I'm thinking of the Kernus that we did last week, which is a very different style. I remember the reviewer, Andy Druckenbrock, referred to it as more, what did he say, more classical or more...
did he call it traditional?
More traditional, more traditional new music, which, you know, and it's a difficult moniker to deal with, but yeah, so in terms of, you know, fighting the technical difficulties, but still trying to create a sound that was more traditional. I would say definitely each piece presents new challenges every week.
And then compare that with what we were just rehearsing when you came in to do this interview. We're doing modern interpretations of Cole Porter songs, and none of us have ever spent any time in Tin Pan Alley, nor do we really plan to. So to then counter with, by the way, can we play Fat Eights? What does that even mean? We don't know. So to counter that with that sort of style, the very week after something like Kernus, every week does present its own unique challenges.
Yeah, I would say like playing new music well is maybe not about like the new, it's more about being kind of a jack of all trades and knowing the style that's appropriate for Tin Pan Alley, or for, you know, if there's a Baroque quote in the piece that we're doing next week, or whatever, you know, having a Baroque style and then shifting on a dime to go to.
It's a change in one program to go from directly, you know, from something completely different.
And what's interesting is that it's often not the stuff that you would think that's really hard.
Yeah.
You know, if you have really complex rhythms and 5s over 7s, it's amazing how often that stuff seems to come together faster than 1, 2, bang, and then we have to rehearse that 3 or 4 times.
I think there's some members of the group that actually enjoy drinking, but it's so busy here that they abstain the entire summer.
What? Who
no,
is that?
I'm looking at the boss here.
I don't completely abstain, but it is true that if I were to go out drinking with the boys on a regular basis, I believe the entire works would crumble. So I have to abstain more than I would like to.
But in reality, the typical PNME day is a 9:30 to noon block, a 2 to 4:30 block, and a 7 to whenever
7 to
people's
9:30.
brains stop working.
Yeah, stop working, which is the case of the Kurdish.
Yes.
So yeah, like 12-hour days with meal breaks. So 9 to 9 with maybe 3 or 4 hours off in the middle for.
That sounds really scary.
Decompressing.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I think Kevin was the person that told me like there's no feasible way that you could maintain this pace over like a full season or full time. It's a part-time venture.
It's the third week that always gets me. It's my kind of. The fourth week is like, the fourth week, only one more to go, come on,
You definitely have to put things in perspective and say, I'm only here to do PNME. If anything else can happen, that's neat. I don't expect that it will, but if I get a moment to do a little yoga or call my wife, or, you know, if there's any of that, great. But if you're like looking for that and you're counting on it, it's not going to work here. Because things change fast, and we have to do a professional level concert on Friday when we start on Monday. Now, if it's low level theatrics like last week was, that's fairly doable. But when we put on an experimental opera like Drunken Moon in 1 week with sets and costumes, then it's, you know, so. I think that I've always had a really clear vision of where the thing would finally arrive. And 2 years ago, we had a perfect sample of what that would be. We would do the core season here at the City Theater, which I believe should be 10 concerts instead of 8, which is what we're doing right now. We've had to scale back for financial reasons. We do the core 10 concerts. And 1 year, we would also have a recording project. We would do a major album of the works that we've commissioned. And on the alternate years, we would take a tour. So in that particular year, this is 2 years ago, we actually did both. We recorded and released an album, and we took this tour to Edinburgh and did the 20 shows there. That might have been maybe 5% too much, you know, I'm not sure. But that was about right. And we were able to do that at a really high level and still like each other at the end and survive. And I think I can't imagine extending it beyond that. But having said that, I can't tell you how much I want to get back to where that is something that we can count on every single year. I think that's a really tremendous goal. Several key quality commissions premiered here, and albums or touring on alternating years, so that the full season doesn't take, it doesn't take 3 months, but it might take 2. Right now we're getting it all done in 4 weeks, and I think the overall thing could sustain 8 before we just simply cannot tolerate Norbert at all.
Well, I couldn't tolerate Norbert's putting.
Yeah.
I would probably echo Kevin's sentiments about, where would I love to see this group without financial restraints or whatever. I mean, like you said before, there's no way to do this thing full time, and I guess you touch on this when you say, I would love to see this group tour. I personally would love to see this group play in different cities, because this product is so unique and it's so unlike any other presentation that I've ever seen.
It's highly sellable as well.
I feel like it would be successful, and we could generate an audience if we do a show in New York or Chicago or Seattle or whatever.